Hello and welcome. My name is Rashim Mogha and I'm your host for this Empowered Women of the World podcast, a podcast where we talk about technology, leadership, and success. Have you ever thought of embarking on a new journey but did not do it because you were scared? Early on in my life, the choices that I made were dictated by fear. What will happen if this doesn't work out? What will people say? If I didn't have the courage to do things despite being scared, I would not be inspiring people around the globe to discover, visualize, and actualize their success. I would not have moved countries, would not have written a best-selling book, would not have manifested the eWOW initiative, and I would be still in a corporate 9 to 5 job, just living my life without an opportunity to give back. Fear holds us back from reaching our full potential. As Jeff Bezos famously said, when you think about the things that you will regret when you are in your 80s, they are almost always the things that you did not do. Be scared and do it anyway has been my mantra. And in today's podcast, I will share with you the framework that I use to move forward despite being scared. And I use this framework often before making a big decision, when I have to try out new things or make life-changing decisions even when I'm scared. The fear of trying something new is called neophobia. And one of the reasons why people fear trying something new is because it's unfamiliar. We fear what we don't know. And the fear of unknown stops us from moving forward. The important thing, though, is to remember that fear serves a purpose. And that purpose is to protect us from potential harm. So to an extent, it's normal and sometimes even beneficial to be afraid of the new and the unfamiliar. If you can address the uncertainty and prepare a risk mitigation plan, you can actually address fear. So this framework that I use often, that I'm going to talk to you about today, has 5 steps. The first step is defining what do you want to do. For example, suppose you want to start a side hustle, a YouTube channel to share your insights with people, or you want to invest in property to have another source of income. Just write it down. I advise using a notebook and a pen or a pencil to do this exercise rather than doing it on your computer. The reason being that when you write things down, your brain perceives the message with more seriousness, and that's what you want over here. So the next step is to write down the best case scenario. What will happen if your new endeavor takes off? List down all tangible and intangible benefits of that success. So if it's a YouTube channel, you might have new multiple sources of income through YouTube, sponsorships, speaking engagements, and other good stuff. Those are your tangible benefits. You will feel immense joy by sharing your knowledge with the audience. That's the intangible benefit. It might boost your confidence. It will force you to learn new skills. All these intangible benefits will not only help you grow as an individual, but might also open up new opportunities of additional income. After you list the benefits, list down all the risks. The biggest risk for me when I started my YouTube channel was, what will people say? How will my friends and family react? What will my co-workers say? I was already delivering keynotes and had an Amazon bestseller before I started my YouTube channel, so I didn't lack the confidence when it came to being in front of the camera. I was already at a senior director level in a big tech company, so for me it was, what if my team finds out that I'm now on social media as a content creator? And what will they think about me? What would their perception be? Would they make fun of me because I started something on YouTube? Now, another fear that I had was, if I wasn't consistent on my channel, given the time that I needed to travel. I was traveling a lot at that time. And that was another concern that I have, because when you start thinking about starting something new, consistency is such a big part of the commitment that you make. Now, for the risk management part, this is the part about how you would handle the situation or what is your backup plan if the risks that you have identified materialize. So, I decided that I will set realistic expectations on consistency with my audience. I will share with my audience that I travel often, my schedule is erratic, I'll try to record videos beforehand, and then I also really felt that when my team or co-workers comments would start affecting me, I would just take a break from YouTube and that would be okay. Now, this starting a YouTube channel is less of a risk as compared to some other risks, like, for example, buying an investment property. Your risks would be higher. What happens if you're not able to rent it out immediately, or if the property requires heavy repairs? You might need to put a contingencies fund for it. So that's what you put in your risk mitigation plan. Then the last step that you want to do is to write down the cost of doing nothing, the cost of not making any changes in your life, the cost of staying where you are. What will your life look like in 20 years if you give in to your fears and do nothing about your passion or the ideas that you have? This step was an eye-opening step for me, because this is where I realized that I didn't want to die just working for a big company. I wanted to empower leaders. I wanted to give back to the community. I'm a multifaceted individual and I wanted to explore all my skills before I leave this planet. I didn't want to live a life of regrets. I wanted to have multiple streams of income. Well, I live in the Silicon Valley where layoffs are an everyday thing, and I didn't want the fear of losing my job looming over me all the time. If you think that this framework will just help you see the picture better, you're mistaken, my friend. This framework will actually help you overcome fear. Either you will realize that the risks are too big and you need to do more research before you can take that risk, or you will realize that you're ready to take the risk and move forward. Now, here is the thing. Oftentimes, the fear, when it sits in our heads and hearts, is much bigger than when we bring it down on paper. When you write it all down, in this framework, you might realize that everything that you listed in the risks is usually manageable. In my experience, the cost of not taking a risk because you're scared is often so much more than taking a risk, even if you're not successful at it. Because even if you're not successful, trying out new things help you realize your potential, your skills. It helps you build your network and opens up doors to other opportunities. Imagine if you did listen to that little inner voice of yours and start that side hustle or pursue that passion and it becomes successful. You'll wake up doing something that you love every single day. You'll have flexibility. You'll no longer be reliant on a job for financial security. What a beautiful moment it will be. I've done this exercise so many times, including when I had to move from India to US, when I decided on a non-linear career path, and when I decided to write my book, and even when I decided to start this podcast. This framework has helped me take calculated risks and overcome fear. Let me know if you decide to give this a try and how this works out for you. And today's resource for you is the link to the eWOW website where you can access all upcoming events. The link is in the show notes. As always, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for loving, liking, supporting and sharing the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. I look forward to seeing you in our next podcast. Till then, keep empowering the world.